In 2 days, it will be Emma's birthday, and I can finally leave the Men's Virtue Academy. The long-awaited sunlight warmed my cold body as it shone down on me. I hurried towards the gate. Every moment spent in this dreadful place was pure agony. A familiar white Maybach awaited me. My wife, Sophia, had come to pick me up, and of course, he was with her. Through the glass window, I saw the two of them cuddling sweetly in the back seat, and my stomach churned. I nearly stumbled and fell.
Coward, need me to carry you to the car?
The half-lowered car window revealed my wife's disdainful look, leaving no room for doubt. My wife's ideal man was a typical muscular type, exuding testosterone. At 188 centimeters and weighing only 140 pounds, I seemed like I could be blown away by the wind in her eyes. She always looked down on me, saying I didn't resemble a real man.
Hurry up! Don't waste our date time!
As I was about to get into the front passenger seat, Sophia snapped at me.
Are you blind? The car behind!
With that, all I saw were the exhaust fumes left by the Maybach. I sighed, but in this desolate place, I had no other choice. Every command from your wife must be followed without question. Otherwise. The fierce gaze of the professor at the Men's Virtue Academy flashed in my mind. I quickly got into the butler's car, continuously tapping my head, my legs trembling uncontrollably, and a slight sweat forming on my forehead.
Sir, are you feeling unwell?
I shook my head.
Just a bit of low blood sugar, let's go.
On the way, I closed my eyes, my breathing becoming rapid. It was fighting time at the academy. Scenes from my time there replayed in my mind, refusing to fade away. The Men's Virtue Academy was a nightmare for many men. The classrooms and dormitories were perpetually dark and damp, with poor hygiene and a pervasive stench. The academy had a strict hierarchy, with weekly task points. The highest scorer could enjoy 10 minutes of fresh air on the rooftop. There were no friends there, only enemies, each person competing for survival. Before lunch, fights determined 4 levels. The highest level got a spoonful of meat, while the D level received half a bun and a punishment. Except for the face and neck, anyone who failed in the academy faced relentless punishment day and night. My body bore new and old scars from countless whippings, making it hard for anyone to look at me directly. Thinking of this, I curled up slightly, feeling a chill.
If Sophia saw my body, she would probably run away in disgust. How would she judge me? Pain keeps you absolutely clear-headed. After each whipping, the instructor would say this. You couldn't cry out in pain. The louder you were, the harder the instructor would hit. Afterward, you could only crouch in a corner, bleeding, and loudly thank the instructor. If your voice was too soft, the instructor would frown and give you extra.
If it weren't for living in the 21st century, I would have thought I was back in wartime. The butler, seeing my condition, silently turned up the air conditioning by 2 degrees. It was early August, and the air already had a hint of coolness. This entire summer had been the most unbearable time in my 30 years of life.
I had an allergic constitution, and in hot weather, I had to use air conditioning, or I would break out in hives, heat-induced urticaria. For 2 months in the summer, due to the harsh environment, my wounds festered, and the hives made me look terrifying. Everyone despised me, and the instructor spread rumors that I had a contagious disease, telling everyone to stay away from me.
Dragging my sick body, I performed the worst in all tasks, getting beaten more frequently. Even during meals, I was made to squat in the corner of the dining hall, given only 2 minutes to eat.
Tumor, disgusting, better off gone, these harsh words often echoed in my ears.
I had applied for medical treatment, only to receive a contemptuous response from the instructor.
Do you deserve it?
I could only hide in a dark room, doing simple disinfection, enduring the breathlessness caused by repeated allergies. Several times, I lay on the ground, scratching my ears, feeling like I was about to go into anaphylactic shock. But I always thought of the most important person in my life, the one who gave me the strength to survive. The butler, seeing my pained expression and dazed eyes, couldn't help but turn to check if I needed medical attention. A sudden screech of brakes pulled me back from my semi-conscious state. The butler wiped the sweat from his forehead, apologized, and muttered,
Don't know where that truck came from.
The truck had Dishuan Logistics written on it. I couldn't help but smirk. After all these years, nothing surprised me anymore. The sweltering summer heat was unbearable for Michael. His allergic constitution meant he relied on air conditioning to avoid breaking out in painful hives.
Look at you, Michael. Do you even deserve medical treatment?
His wounds festered, and the hives made him look frightening. Rumors spread that he had a contagious disease.
I can't take this anymore.
Get back to work, or you'll regret it.
Beaten frequently and only given 2 minutes to eat, he was made to squat in the corner of the dining hall. Harsh words like disgusting and better off gone echoed in his ears. Desperate for relief, Michael applied for medical treatment but faced only contempt.
Please, I need help.
Do you really think you deserve it?
Michael could only disinfect his wounds in a dark room, enduring breathlessness and the constant threat of anaphylactic shock. He held on, thinking of the person who gave him strength.
Sir, are you all right? You look terrible.
I'm fine, just need some air.
A screech of brakes jolted him back to reality.
Sorry about that. Don't know where that truck came from.
The truck had Dishuan Logistics written on it. Michael smirked, feeling nothing could surprise him anymore. I had an allergic constitution, and in hot weather, I had to use air conditioning, or I would break out in hives, heat-induced urticaria. For 2 months in the summer, due to the harsh environment, my wounds festered, and the hives made me look terrifying. Everyone despised me, and the instructor spread rumors that I had a contagious illness, telling everyone to stay away from me.
Stay away from him. He has a contagious disease.
Dragging my sick body, I performed the worst in all tasks, getting punished more frequently. Even during meals, I was made to squat in the corner of the dining hall, given only 2 minutes to eat.
Tumor, disgusting, better off gone. These harsh words often echoed in my ears.
I had applied for medical treatment, only to receive a contemptuous response from the instructor.
Do you deserve it?
I could only hide in a dark room, doing simple disinfection, enduring the breathlessness caused by repeated allergies. Several times, I lay on the ground, scratching my ears, feeling like I was about to go into anaphylactic shock. But I always thought of the most important person in my life, the one who gave me the strength to survive. The butler, seeing my pained expression and dazed eyes, couldn't help but turn to check if I needed medical attention. A sudden screech of brakes pulled me back from my semi-conscious state.
Don't know where that truck came from.
The truck had Dishuan Logistics written on it. I couldn't help but smirk. After all these years, nothing surprised me anymore. I had an allergic constitution, and in hot weather, I had to use air conditioning, or I would break out in hives, heat-induced urticaria. For 2 months in the summer, due to the harsh environment, my wounds festered, and the hives made me look terrifying. Everyone despised me, and the instructor spread rumors that I had a contagious disease, telling everyone to stay away from me.
Keep your distance from him. He has a contagious disease.
Dragging my sick body, I performed the worst in all tasks, getting beaten more frequently. Even during meals, I was made to squat in the corner of the dining hall, given only 2 minutes to eat.
Look at him, a tumor on the squad.
Disgusting. Better off gone.
I had applied for medical treatment, only to receive a contemptuous response from the instructor.
Do you deserve it?
I could only hide in a dark room, doing simple disinfection, enduring the breathlessness caused by repeated allergies. Several times, I lay on the ground, scratching my ears, feeling like I was about to go into anaphylactic shock. But I always thought of the most important person in my life, the one who gave me the strength to survive. The butler, seeing my pained expression and dazed eyes, couldn't help but turn to check if I needed medical attention. A sudden screech of brakes pulled me back from my semi-conscious state.
Don't know where that truck came from.
The truck had Dissue and Logistics written on it. I couldn't help but smirk. After all these years, nothing surprised me anymore. Narrator, tone, sad. The summer heat was unbearable for me. My allergies flared up, and without air conditioning, I broke out in hives. Over time, my condition worsened, and my skin looked horrifying. People avoided me, while the instructor spread rumors that I had a contagious disease.
Instructor, tone, unfriendly. Stay away from him. He's got something contagious.
Narrator, tone, serious. I struggled through daily tasks, performing poorly and getting punished more frequently. Meals were no different. I was forced to squat in a corner, given just 2 minutes to eat.
Cadet 1 tone, unfriendly look, here comes the tumor. Cadet 2 tone, unfriendly, disgusting. Better off gone.
Narrator, tone, sad. I applied for medical treatment but was met with disdain.
Instructor, tone, unfriendly. Do you think you deserve it?
Narrator, tone, serious. I retreated to a dark room, attempting self-care. The repeated allergies took a toll, but thoughts of the most important person in my life kept me going. Narrator, tone, serious. The butler noticed my distress and considered medical help. A sudden screech of brakes brought me back to reality.
Butler, tone, relieved, sorry about that. Not sure where that truck came from.
Narrator, tone, serious. The truck bore the logo Dissue and Logistics. I couldn't help but smirk. Nothing surprised me anymore. Michael's condition worsened each summer, his body covered in painful rashes. Everyone avoided him, believing the instructor's cruel rumors.
Stay away from Michael. He's got something contagious.
Why won't they understand? It's just an allergy.
Michael struggled through each day, often beaten for his poor performance due to his illness. Even at meals, he was given just 2 minutes to eat.
Look at him, squatting in the corner like that.
Does someone like you even deserve medical treatment?
Michael sought solace in the memory of a loved one, his strength to endure.
Are you all right? You need medical attention.
A truck screeched to a halt nearby, jarring Michael back to reality.
Don't know where that truck came from.
Nothing surprises me anymore.
Sophia's perspective, the trip to new country with Jack for the transaction was fraught with obstacles and delays. It wasn't until the day I returned home that my best friend met me at the airport with devastating news.
Sophia, Michael and Emma passed away half a month ago.
Amy, that's a bit of an extreme joke.
I casually linked arms with my friend and joked. I walked out cheerfully to find the butler's car. He was dressed in black, his face solemn, and he said nothing.
John, that outfit looks like you're attending a funeral.
I said with a smile, thinking of the many new toys I had brought for my daughter. I hadn't seen Emma in over a month and missed her dearly.
Madam, didn't Miss Amy tell you?
I looked at John's expression in the rearview mirror and then at Amy's serious face. My heart skipped a beat.
Could Amy's words not be a joke?
Amy hugged me tightly and nodded forcefully. What? My Emma was gone? On the way, I first called Michael, but his phone was off. Then I called my parents and got the confirmation. Tears streamed down my face. I was an unfit mother. I had been so focused on pursuing my own love that, even though I knew she was ill, I still traveled everywhere with Jack over the past 5 years. John took me to the cemetery, where Michael's ashes were kept but not yet buried. Michael's parents had cried so much over the past half-month that their eyes were sunken, constantly questioning why I was so heartless.
Sophia, Emma's dying wish was to see her mother, but you are lost in the arms of another man.
Sophia, my son married you and never received a kind word, and when he passed, he was covered in wounds. How did you abuse him?
Michael's parents pushed and scolded me repeatedly. I deserved this, didn't I? Michael was covered in wounds, and I didn't even know. I was also unaware of his illness. He loved me for so many years, and in the end, I let him down. He loved our daughter so much, and I knew it all along. I knelt before their graves, my heart a mix of emotions. Amy recounted everything that had happened over the past 5 years, and I collapsed completely. I was a fool, a wicked woman, deserving of the deepest hell.
I'm sorry.
Despite my apologies, they would never respond again, and those around me looked on coldly, their words piercing my heart. I spent 10 days assembling a team to investigate the true cause of Emma's persistent fever. The result was shocking. It was Jack's doing. Over the years, I had spent all my money helping Jack with illegal activities, and after Michael's passing, he had withheld Emma's medication. He had even withheld her medical expenses on many occasions before. The hospital bills were always whatever he said, and I transferred the money. This was my promise to Michael. I would cover the medical expenses since I couldn't be there, and he only needed to stay with our daughter for her treatment. Who knew Jack would do such a monstrous thing, replacing Emma's imported medicine with domestic ones and claiming it was all my decision, without informing her father? The professor never confirmed with me either. Fortunately, I wasn't entirely ignorant over the years. I knew that one day I would have to face legal consequences. I provided the anti-drug police with all the locations, photos, and documents I had gathered from my dealings with Jack, as well as the transfer records. On the day I left, I visited the Michael family and the cemetery. I knelt before Michael's parents in repentance and transferred all my assets to them.
Dad, Mom, I know you will never forgive me, but this is the last thing I can do for you.
Michael's mom pushed me out of the villa, declaring that they would never forgive me in this life or the next. On the way to the cemetery, I repeatedly recalled the past 20 years with Michael. He had always been kind to me, giving me many interesting things he collected from his travels around the country.
But I treated them like trash, throwing them into boxes. I was the little princess of the capital, and there was nothing I hadn't seen. I was used to having him by my side, always protecting me. We were desk mates from elementary school to high school graduation. He had excellent grades and got into the best university in the capital, choosing the best major. I, on the other hand, was always a poor student, barely staying in the capital for college.
From the moment I met Jack, my relationship with Michael plummeted. I refused all his invitations to hang out. My eyes were only for my white moonlight. When he proposed marriage to my family, I had a talk with him, and he agreed to all my conditions. To be with Jack, I married Michael, using him as a shield for my affair. Both families knew I was involved with Jack behind Michael's back, but Michael always maintained my dignity, silently enduring everything.
I realized too late that the person who loved me the most had always been by my side, while Jack was the most malicious one. He spent my money, took over my life, and caused my daughter's illness. He deserved punishment. But what about me? I deserved it too. Now, I had to atone for my sins.
I couldn't bear to be buried with Michael. I bought a plot next to his. If there's a next life, I will love him and make amends. I said my final goodbyes to my husband and daughter. As I walked into the police station, I turned back for one last look at the sunset, half red and dazzling. In my mind, I saw Emma's face.
I'm sorry, it's Mom's fault.
I brought a confession letter and spoke with the officer for an hour. My poison began to take effect. It was excruciating, my organs twisting together, and as blood gushed out, I saw Michael reaching out his hand.
It's over. I'm coming to join you both. I was the one who deserved this the most. I had the perfect life, but played my cards terribly. In the next life, I will live well.